Okay, we're beginning this class. We've offered our obeisance to our beloved Gurudevs, to Srila Prabhupada, to Srila Gurudev, to the assembled Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis. We had some technical difficulties, but we are pushing on now. Okay, so Discord's connected. Everybody can hear. We are going to the beautiful Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. And finally, Srila Haridasa Thakur, Sri Nityananda Prabhu have spoken to Jagai and Madhai, imploring them to chant the name of Krishna, worship Krishna. Now Jagai and Madhai, in their drunken rage, have finally turned to them, and they are looking at these two great saintly personalities. Okay, let me make sure here. Okay. And they're looking at them in anger. The verse is, Dakashuni matatuli chahe dui jana, maha krode dui jana, aruna lochana, krode, right? Kroda, anger, right? Maha. On hearing their call, all right, these two turned their heads and became red with anger. After lifting their heads and seeing the forms of the sannyasis, the two ran towards them, shouting, "Catch them! Catch them!" Ooh, these were big, brutish fellows, too. I've read other descriptions. They're very large. Nityananda and Haridasa quickly ran away as the two rogues chased them, shouting, "Stop! Stop!" Abusing them with harsh words, they chased behind the two Prabhus, who ran away out of fear. So, the verse is, Daya Aishe Pache Tarja Garidja Kore Mahabhaya. Mahabhaya, great fear, right? Bhaya, fear, Maha. Bhayi Dui Prabhu Daya Dore. Saraswati Prabhupada says the phrase Dui Prabhu refers to Nityananda Prabhu and Haridasa Thakur. Nityananda Swarup and Haridasa Thakur were both Vaishnava sannyasis. Now that's a statement that's bound to arise controversy. This is a big argument. Did Nityananda Prabhu ever take sannyas or not? Some say yes, some say no. There have been bitter arguments about it. It's obvious that he dresses sometimes as a sannyasi. Many descriptions of that in Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavat. But Srila Prabhupada one time said that he was a brahmachari, maintained his brahmachari name, but another time he calls him avadut, which surpasses the topmost stage of Paramahansa sannyasi. The point is, whether Nityananda appears as sannyas, appears dressed opulently with ornaments and jewelry, or however he appears, he's completely transcendental to all these considerations, right? But the reason that I think it evokes such emotion is because later on the order of Mahprabhu, he got married. And if he'd taken sannyas, why would Mahprabhu order him to get married? Because Mahprabhu was, very strict in regarding the rules and regulations of varnashram and the behavior of those who are in the sannyas ashram. So anyway, they're definitely appearing as sannyasis in this lila, this pastime. Lokabali takanaye nisheda korila Dui sannyasira aji sankatapadya. People said, we warned them before. Now these two sannyasis are in danger. Right? And you would ask also, how could Haridasa Thakur take sannyas? He's not in the varnashram system. Right? He's outside of it. He was a Muslim. He wasn't allowed in the temple. The sannyas ceremony is part of the, samskaras for those within varnashram. So they're transcendental personalities, completely beyond that consideration. But in this case, they are dressed and appearing like sannyasis, which is very simple. They're wearing some kind of red cloth. They may be carrying sticks. Ya teka pashandi sabha hasse mane mane, bandera uchita shashti koila narayane. All the atheists smiled and thought, Lord Narayan has given proper punishment to these impostors. Purport. People who are averse to devotional service maintain enmity towards those who are engaged in unalloyed devotional service to Vishnu. According to these hostile people, the unalloyed devotees of the Lord are impostors, since they are opposed to devotional service, and the devotees who are situated beyond their conceptions, they desire inauspiciousness for the devotees. In spite of admitting that they are envious of the devotees, they consider themselves servants of Narayan. But since they are actually averse to the Lord, they are envious and fall from the truth. Very important instruction for us, because we're engaged daily in attempts to perform devotional service, right? But we're still covered by the modes of nature, and sometimes those modes and thoughts enter our mind as well. Oh, this Vaishnava is in this group, this Vaishnava is in that group. They're not real Vaishnavas. They're not really following the proper way. They're imposters, right? This goes on all the time. And even within our own Sangha, oh, this person, he's a Vaishnava, but this person is not. I like this one, I don't like that one. This is not a favorable way of thinking. We're always confused, we're always troubled in our own devotional practice. But we have to take example in the functions of speech, the functions of the body, and the functions of the mind, right? We heard about those earlier. And so in our speech, don't criticize Vaishnavas. If we have some problem, don't speak. Srila Vaman Maharaj used to say that. You may observe something, but don't say anything, right? You may be wrong, and even if you're right, what is the value, right? What do you accomplish by that? In your mind, don't allow these thoughts to fester, because they just make you unhappy. We have enough trouble cultivating and developing our own bhakti. Why are we worrying about the ups and downs of others, right? And in body, certainly, right? Keep ourselves nicely engaged. If our mind is distracted, if our words are critical, then what's going to happen? We're just going to become frustrated and we won't get anything accomplished, right? It's hard enough just to get by in this world, right? The challenges in performing regulative service. Why bring it upon your head to try to analyze and criticize others? These hostile people, right? They saw the devotees of the Lord. They called them impostors. And that was an indication of their own lack of qualification. These two devotees, Haridasa and Nityananda, were beyond their conception, right? Beyond their conception. And all they could think of was, to point out this fault, that fault. Srila Prabhupada one time said, don't expect that everybody in the Krishna conscious movement is going to be a pure devotee. We're going to have many people coming with problems, with difficulty. That's, we're coming from Kali Yuga, right? So those things will be there. Rather, focus on your own bhakti. Because if you are, I've seen it year after year after year, decade after decade, generation after generation. Now I've seen 3 generations of Vaishnavas, and heard about many more. When you become absorbed in criticism, you lose your own bhakti. That's not bhakti. It doesn't help you. And it doesn't help others, right? If you're in a very strong devotional status and you maybe mention something to somebody and your intention is very good to help them, to encourage them, to uplift them, then that may be effective. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, never criticize except for 3 purposes. If in that speaking you're going to help the audience that you're speaking to understand something, if in that speaking you're helping the person themselves who you find the fault with, or if you're helping yourself, right? Otherwise, you should not speak. So that's why we can read about Ajamil, who's in Vaikuntha now, right? But he had some past, and we read about those faults and those difficulties because we learn about bhakti that way. But we don't think, oh, Ajamil, he's so fallen, he's such a rascal, how is he in Vaikuntha? No, this is a discussion of the power of the holy name and the power of genuine remorse and consideration and the benefits of associating with sadhus, lessons there, right? Bilva Mangal Thakur, who lived for 700 years, right? But there was a period in his life when he had great difficulty, right? But we don't consider him fallen and unqualified. We glorify him because he passed over those obstacles, right? So Nityananda and Haridasa now are showing the example. They're approaching these most fallen individuals with the mood of love and compassion, right? So, but now they're being chased. Now the pious Brahmins are going, Raksha Krishna, Supramani Bole, Se Stana Chadiya Baye, Chalila Sakale. The pious Brahmin said, save them, Krishna, save them. They then left that place in fear. Right? So Srila Prabhupada says, the conception of pious Brahmanas are not like those of immoral persons. They appeal to Krishna with the desire to protect the Lord's devotees. The duty of pious Brahmanas is to meditate on the well-being of the devotees. That's our job. We should meditate on the well-being of each other, not constantly looking to detect the shortcomings. And we all have shortcomings. But if we do that, then how do we benefit them or ourselves? The duty of pious Brahmanas is to meditate on the well-being of the devotees. Persons who are averse to this principle fall from their Brahminical position, attain abominable nature, and inevitably engage in activities hostile to devotional service. Big warning there, right? And this is our daily struggle, because in this world we are educated in the conception of friends and enemies, right? This person I like, this person I don't like, right? And our mind is always trying to categorize in that way. And when we're suffering, we tend to blame it on others. This is and demons take advantage of that. That's what goes on in our culture now. If you look at news or Facebook or TikTok or X or whatever, Instagram, whatever people are on, the media is always trying to get people to fight and argue. These people are good, these people are bad, right? Why? Because then it allows the demons to keep them distracted from their real welfare and manipulate them and use them for their own benefit, right? But if people have saintly vision and a mood of compassion, they're going to look towards the whatever speck of good quality is there, look to that and encourage that. Fan that little spark. That's what Srila Prabhupada did. When he came to America, who was qualified? What were their characteristics? My God, who he made into devotees. Gurudev was the same way. Whatever speck of enthusiasm, belief, faith, surrender, desire was there, he would simply encourage and fan that, right? That's how Vaishnavas act amongst each other, right? Dui dasyu daya dui Thakur palaya darilun bali laga nahi pai. The two rogues chased behind as the two lords ran away. Although the rogues declared that they caught them, they were unable. So that's another thing rogues do. They make false claims. Oh, we've caught them. Nityananda bole bala hoila Vaishnava ajiyadi prana vanche tabe pahisaba. Nityananda said, we thought it would be good to turn them into Vaishnavas, but we will be lucky if we survive today. as they're running away. Oh, what was I thinking? Oh, we should turn them into Vaishnavas, but we'll be lucky. So in the purport, Saraswati Prabhupada says, Nityananda said, leave far aside any idea that by giving Krishna's instructions to Jagai and Madhai, that they will become Vaishnavas. It will be good if we can protect ourselves from their invincible attack. And then Haridasa said, oh Lord, what can I say? Today I will die prematurely because of your ideas. This is part of their relationship. They had this. In the purport, he goes, Haridasa said, O Nityananda Prabhu, since by the order of Sri Chaitanya Dev, you have desired auspiciousness for the living entities, they are able to finish our lives with premature death. Now, what is the use of discussing these topics? And, I know from my own experience, sometimes our enthusiasm to preach did get us into a lot of trouble. We took chances and took risks and ended up in jail or, being chased or beaten or whatever, and Nityananda is saying, maybe we were a little over-enthusiastic. But then, Haridasa continues, because you have tried to give Krishna's instructions to drunkards, we have received proper punishment, almost losing our lives. Purport. Haridasa said, it is an offense to instruct faithless persons in the chanting of the name of Hari. Since we have come forward to instruct unqualified offenders, the proper punishment for our offense has been written on our foreheads. Appropriate instruction. Madhyams should not, and of course Kanishtas should not try to preach to such offensive non-believers. But Nityananda and Haridasa are not on that level. They are of such a caliber that they can stimulate and create faith in the hearts of anyone. But they're showing that for big, big demons like this, even for devotees such as themselves, it may be quite difficult. Now, so, after that, Ektabale Daya Prabhu Hasya Hasya Dui Dasu Pache Daya Tari Jia Gari Jia. This word Hasya, right? Speaking in this way, the two lords laughed as they ran away. The two rogues chased after them while shouting abusive words. So they're actually quite filled with hasya ras. They're laughing now. Oh, now, look, we tried to preach to them. Now look what's become of us. And they're running away, laughing about it. Their words appear to be, oh, we're so frightened. Oh, what have we done? But they're taking great happiness in this pastime. So, the two drunkards had fat bodies, so they could hardly walk. Yet somehow they ran swiftly. Fat bodies because they just drank and ate meat, right? The two rogues said, oh, brothers, where will you go? How will you escape Jagai and Madhai today? You do not know that Jagai and Madhai live here. Wait a moment and see who's behind you. Big boastful words from these drunkards. Saraswati Prabhupada says, Jagai and Madhai said to Nityananda and Haridasa, you should have known that the two rogues, Jagai and Madhai, stay here, and no one goes home safely without being harassed by us. Wait a moment and see us come after you. Trasya daya dui Prabhu vachana shuniya Raksha Krishna Govinda Baliya. Hearing their words, the two lords ran in fear as they called out, save us Krishna, hey Govinda. So now it says they have fear. How could they have fear? Well, they were laughing, now they're fearful. These are transitory emotions, right? These are transformations of prema. One moment they're laughing, one moment they're appearing fearful. They're absorbed in prema, a special kind of prema, because they are the missionaries of Mahprabhu. And this is what happens. But these emotions are not like our emotions, fearing for their life, laughing like us. They're experiencing great love for Mahprabhu in this pastime. So Haridasa then said, I cannot go further. Why did I knowingly come with this restless person? Purport. Haridasa Thakur said to Nityananda Prabhu, even though I cannot run, I have come with a restless person like you, who could run fast, and who was always getting involved in anything and everything. Right? Because Nityananda Prabhu, he could jump in the Ganga, swim with crocodiles, grab the tail of the crocodile, jump on it, and laugh, right? Unaffected. Haridasa, he's old, he's short, he's a little fatty also. And he say, oh, I can't run anymore. Why did I come with you? This restless person, young, strong, you can run away easily. Now look at my fate. Rakilena Krishna Kala Yavanera Tani Chanchalera Buddhayaji Paranaharai. Krishna just saved me from the wrath of the Yavanas, and now today I will lose my life due to your mischievous nature. Purport, Haridasa said, just a few days ago, Krishna saved me from the hands of a Yavana, who was a Kazi in the province of Ambuya. But today I am almost certain to lose my life due to the fault of the restless intelligence of the person known as Nityananda. So he says a few days ago, but it was some time back when he was beaten in the 21 marketplaces. So then Nityananda bole, Amina ye chanchala, mani bhavi deka tomar Prabhu se vivala. Nityananda said, I am not a restless person. Think carefully. It is your Lord who is agitated. Don't blame it on me. Blame it on my brother, your Lord, this Lord Chaitanya. Purport. In protest of Haridasa's statement, Nityananda said, I have become restless by seeing how the Lord is agitated. But personally, I am not restless. Mahprabhu is a poor Brahmana. Like a king, he has ordered me to preach the names of Hari at each and every house, and I am simply following his order. Correct? What fault can you put on Nityananda, right? I'm just following my Lord's order. Don't criticize me, Haridasa. Although he is a Brahmana, he gives orders like a king. On his instruction, we preach door to door. He gives orders that we have never heard before. And as a result, people call us thieves and hypocrites. Purport. Nityananda said, I have not heard anyone give instructions like Sri Gaurasundar has. While following his order, people considered us trespassing thieves or hypocrites in disguise. And it's true. Who has ever given such an order as Mahprabhu in the history of the world to go out among the most fallen in the Kali Yuga and preach the glories of the holy name, to give the holy name to the most unqualified, which is why the demigods are lining up to take birth in Kali Yuga. Sages, great personalities who endeavor for tens of thousands of years, even yugas in meditation, realize that, if we could just take birth in this Kali Yuga, we could develop the highest love of God, even in one lifetime, one short Kali Yuga lifetime. So no one have ever heard such instruction before. Na korile agyatana savana shakare, korile o agyatana e paladore. If we disobey his order, we will be ruined. And if we follow his order, this is the result. What can we do? Sounds like between a rock and a hard place, right? We can't not follow his order, and yet by following it, look what has happened to us. Panaprabhuda dosha na janahatumi dui jani balilama dosha bhagiyami. You do not admit your Lord's fault. Although we both spoke to them, you accuse me of being at fault? Purport. By the will of Mahprabhu, both you and I are preaching the names of Hari at every house. But it is very sad that you accuse me of being at fault. I am not alone at fault. Mahprabhu is also involved. So it's Mahaprabhu's fault. And remember, hey, you came along with me. You're doing the same thing. You're accusing me. In this way, the two Prabhus engaged in blissful quarrels as they watched the two rogues chasing them, becoming confused. So this is one of the qualities of the devotee. Blissful quarrels. Devotees can argue and quarrel about seva, about each other, but in a humorous, good-natured way. If you are having a mood of affection towards the others, then it's part of bhakti. Krishna's coward boys, they would wrestle, they would fight. Madhu Mangal, they would tease him. Madhu Mangal would say clever words back. Radha and Krishna fight and accuse each other. It depends how it's done, right? How is it done? What's in the heart? These two Prabhus engaged in blissful quarrels. And as they watched the two rogues chasing them, becoming confused. Right? So bhakti has the full range of emotion. All the spiritual emotions are there, right? Just like in this world, but they're full of bliss. They're transformations. These two are arguing with each other. Haridasa Thakur, you think he's genuinely critical of Nityananda? He's laughing. Just look what you've done to us now. Now we're running from fear. He was beaten in all those marketplaces. He was fearless. He never criticized anyone. You think he's going to be all of a sudden fearful of two fat drunkards chasing them? No, this is a love quarrel. This is a pastime created to show many different things, right? Many different things. So now what are they doing? They ran towards the Lord's house while the two rogues rolled on the ground being intoxicated by wine. So it's said in the purport by Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, Jagai and Madhai had both drunk excessive wine before chasing Nityananda and Haridasa. So how far could they run, right? Unable to see the two Prabhus, the drunkards gave up the chase and eventually began to push and shove each other. Being intoxicated by wine, the two could not remember a thing about where they were before and where they were now. After a while, the two Prabhus looked back and could not see where the two rogues had gone. So Nityananda and Haridasa now, they run, turning here, turning there, going back towards Mahprabhu. Finally, they look back, oh, we've escaped. The two felt pacified and embraced each other. They laughed and then went to see Vishwambara. I remember doing that so many times after escaping from the cops or somebody chasing us and with another devotee, and we'd just start laughing. Whew, that was a close one, right? The lotus-eyed Mahprabhu was sitting. The limbs of his body were so beautiful, and his form bewildered even Cupid. He was surrounded by the Vaishnavas, who were discussing topics of Krishna amongst themselves. The Lord joyfully discussed his own glories in that assembly, just as the Lord of Shvetadweep did in the association of sages headed by Sanak. What does he mean by that? He's talking about Krishna, the different incarnations. They're all him. Mahprabhu was always reluctant to discuss his glories in relationship to himself as Mahprabhu. Right? As a Nimai Pandit, he would very arrogantly and proudly discuss his own glories. That was part of his pastime, which intimidated everyone, right? But when he manifested his devotional sentiments, he was very humble. Although from time to time he would manifest his Bhagavata, and then, again, to create faith and joy in the hearts of the devotees, declare his power, his glory, his purpose, his mission, and not to be afraid of any obstacle. So he may be discussing that, or he may be discussing the pastimes of Krishna, Baladev, Vamandev, any of the incarnations. At that time, Nityananda and Haridasa came before the Lord and reported to him what had happened that day. Today we have seen two strange persons. They were great drunkards, yet they called themselves Brahmanas. Right. We call ourselves Vaishnavas or Brahmanas, But these two, the problem was they called themselves, but they didn't act like Brahmanas, right? So we have to be careful to act like Vaishnavas, to be worthy of that nomenclature, right? Or at least worthy of aspiring for it. We nicely requested them to chant the names of Krishna. In response, they chased us, yet we fortunately survived. The Lord said, "Who are these two? What are their names? Why would Brahmanas engage in such activities?" Purport. Saraswati Prabhupada says, Mahprabhu said, "It is not proper for Brahmanas to drink wine. It is not the duty of Brahmanas to act like rogues and chase Vaishnavas." Next verse. Gangadas and Shrivas, who were sitting before the Lord, began to relate the sinful activities of those two. Now they say, "O Lord, the names of those two are Jagai and Madhai. They are the sons of a pious Brahmana, and they were both born here. Due to bad association, they have developed such mentality. They have been attached to drinking wine since their birth." I don't know what that means. Babies, give me the wine. In other words, for a long time, but also by bad association. Their family for many generations were well-regarded Brahmanas. Just shows you what you associate with. Who do you associate with? So, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada explains, he quotes and paraphrases that verse. The father of Jagai and Madhai was a Brahmana who engaged in his occupational duties. Due to the influence of bad association, his two sons have become engaged in sinful activities, like harming others and plundering wealth. Next verse. Everyone in Nadia is afraid of these two. There is no house that has not been plundered by them. Wow, they're robbing everybody. There's no limit to their sinful activities. O Lord, you know and see everything. And the Lord said, I know these two fellows. If they come here, I will cut them to pieces. Nityananda bole, kanda kanda karatumi, se dui taki te kota nahi ami. Nityananda said, you may cut them to pieces, but I will not go out as long as they are there. Okay, so now he's showing the pastime of fear. You gave us this order, but look what happened to us. I can't go out again. I'm not going to do it. Purport. When Mahprabhu said that he would cut Jagai and Madhai to pieces, Nityananda replied, I will not be able to follow your order as long as they are alive. And then he goes on, Kisharava eta tumi karaha badai, age se dui jani govinda balai. Why do you brag so much? First get these two to chant the name of Govinda. Sobhave dharmike balaye krishnanam, e dui vikarma bai nahi jane ana. A pious person naturally chants the name of Krishna, but these two do not know anything other than sinful activities. If you deliver these two by awarding them devotional service, then I will know that you are Patit Pavan, the deliverer of the fallen. Now Nityananda is making the challenge to the Lord. I could not do this, but you are Patit Pavan. So in his purport, Saraswati Prabhupada says, he speaks the same verse. Pious persons naturally chant the names of Krishna, but these two are not candidates for accepting any good instructions and are only interested in sinful activities. If you can induce these two to chant the names of Govinda, then the glories of your name, Patit Pavan, will be protected, and your words will prove meaningful. The deliverance of these two will certainly be more glorious than the deliverance of me. Oh, you've shown me, he's acting like a sadhak, Nityananda. Now, you've delivered me, but if you could deliver these two, oh my God. Vishwambara smiled and replied, they were delivered the moment they got your darshan. Ah. So now he's reflecting back to Nityananda. Actually, you have delivered them. Your mercy is so great. You are Guru Tattva. Your desire and your appearing before them, you're giving them that message. You have already delivered them by your mercy, by your vision. You can show, the Lord shows mercy and purifies people by different ways. By sight, right? By giving them darshan, by speaking benedictory words, right? May you be a devotee. Or just appearing in the heart, right? And there are different examples of this. So, they were delivered the moment they got your darshan. Mahprabhu continues speaking to Nityananda. You are so concerned for their benefit that Krishna will soon arrange for their well-being. And this is the mystery of Sri Guru. That in the Madhurya Kadambina, there's a very beautiful description of the Lord's ambassadors, his emissaries, how they are specifically empowered. The Lord transmits into their heart his Karuna Shakti, which is described as his most important Shakti, the Shakti of his mercy, of his compassion. And he puts it into the heart of these great devotees and gives them the power and the freedom to go anywhere and everywhere and give love of God to whomever they desire, under any circumstance. They have the full backing of the Lord. So generally, the process is that we become inspired by such a personality, and they give us the instruction. The mercy comes in the form of the instructions, how to perform bhakti, step by step, right? And this is the most frequent. That is the mercy. And it's a very beautiful pastime of the Lord that he enjoys very much, to see his devotees taking that step, exercising their free will, overcoming obstacles. It endears that devotee to the Lord when he sees, oh, you have this obstacle, oh, you have that obstacle, and yet you still persevere. Guru becomes so appreciative, and thus Krishna becomes so appreciative, right? Anybody can just, as soon as there's an obstacle, to give up, right? Oh, I can't do it, it's too difficult. And our mind is always telling us, oh, I have to go away, I'm going to go practice bhakti at home. Nobody will bother me there. I'll go to my parents' basement. And my mother will feed me, I'll offer the food. I'll preach to them. They'll get some benefit, Or I'll go to some other place. I'll do this, that. But Guru really appreciates when you stick it out, overcome adversity. That's the thing. And the adversity may come from the physical circumstances, like this winter weather, You think this is tough. How'd you like to be practicing in Siberia? There are devotees that do it, minus 70 degrees, and they're living there, right? They grow vegetables for 1 month out of the year. I've visited places like that. It's amazing how austere it is. Or places where they don't have any money at all, very cold. The early temples under Srila Prabhupada, some of them were so poor. I remember the first German temple. They had no running water. They had nothing. They had to leave this shack that they were in, walk a few blocks to go to this other abandoned building, crawl through a hole in the wall, and there was a running water pipe, and they would use that to bathe. Right? In New Vrindavan, the Brahmachari ashram was in the attic of this old farmhouse. You could see the outside through the cracks in the wall and the windows. And they'd get up in the morning and go out to this little pond they called Radhe Kund, out there, walking out there in their little Brahmin underwear, with a little towel, and they crack the ice and pour the water over them and shiver back and go back into the house. Very, very difficult. Eating watery oatmeal, not even oatmeal, oat water for breakfast. Very little prasad. Oh, all around the country. Such austerity. Chicago temple, you can't believe how cold their showers were. I thought our New York temple, Brooklyn, we had no heat for an entire winter. They turned it on an hour a day to keep the pipes from bursting. You go in the morning and you'd see your breath in the temple room. Even though there was 100 people in the temple room, you'd still see your breath. And we had no socks and no sweaters or anything. We're just running around. Doing kitchen seva was a blessing because it was warm in the kitchen, right? It was very challenging, but I don't remember anybody complaining. Everybody was very happy to do it. Going out on Hari Nam, finally we got some long underwear, I remember, and that was a blessing, but then the wind would blow and your dhoti would catch and it'd be up by your knees, stuck by that long underwear. So cold in Chicago, they had to wear layers and layers and layers because it was so cold there. So they didn't mind. They overcame. These obstacles were not a concern, only to follow the order of the Lord. And by doing that, they got the full mercy of Mahprabhu, full mercy of Guru. And I've heard that directly, from our gurus. And so Mahaprabhu was happy with them. Oh, you were in danger, but you delivered them. Your darshan delivered them because I empowered you and you empowered them. You were so concerned for their benefit that Krishna will soon arrange for their well-being. You carry my Karuna Shakti in your heart, and you have free will and full empowerment to give it anywhere and everywhere. On hearing these words from the lotus mouth of the Lord, all the devotees chanted, Jai, Jai, Hari, Hari. They were all convinced that the two were already delivered. Haridasa then went before Advaita and spoke as follows. Okay, now there's going to be more conversation. We'll do this tomorrow. This is where Haridasa tells all the craziness of Nityananda Prabhu to the delight of all the devotees. Okay, so we will stop there and hear more tomorrow. So, I'll go to our merciful gurus. I'll go to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, all of our Rupanuga Guru Parampara, all the Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, all glories to the desire to serve unremittingly, unendingly in their service, overcoming all the obstacles of weather, of physical challenges, mental challenges. Oh, God. Gaur Premanande, Haribo, Haribo.